The type is going to be a text record, just like before. And now again, we are going to paste the values that we copied from the instructions. We can go and create that. And here for this particular demo, I set the TTL, the time to live, to 1 hour. It's fine for this demo. It doesn't really play a role here. Now we need to go and copy the IP address, which is the IP of our app service here. And this time we will create an A record. Let's go back to DNS. Let's add here a record, but this time we leave the name empty because that's the apex, and we can copy here, or rather paste the IP address that we just copied before. So now we have those two new entries which are created, all right? If we go back to our website, we can try now the one that we had before, but first of all, we need, of course, to validate. And now the validation is okay. We can add the custom domain, the Apex custom domain. Let's go and refresh that. And now we see that it is working. It's still not secure. So let's go and add an SSL binding again. And this time the process for the SSL binding is going to be a little bit different because the managed app service that we use for www.tailwindtraders.xyz before can unfortunately not be used for an Apex domain. This is only for subdomains. So instead what we are going to do now is add a binding, but this time we are going to upload a certificate that we purchased from a registrar, from an external registrar. Now of course you could also do that through Azure. But basically the process is very similar. It so happens that I have here a certificate which is already existing, which is a wildcard certificate that we can use for this demo. The certificate comes with a password. And now that I configure everything, I can go and upload this certificate. It's going to just take a moment. And so basically, just to recap, this is an external certificate that I purchased. So now I can choose a wildcard certificate, SNI again, and now I'm configuring the binding. And from this point onwards, the traffic is going to be secure for tailwindtraders.xyz and also www.tailwindtraders.xyz. So we can verify that. Let's go back here to our overview. And we see indeed that the record is already registered. We can click on that and we see that now it's working for both the Apex domain as well as for the www subdomain. So this is good. We have basically secured our website. And just to recap, what we did is that we used here some TLS SSL bindings to do that after we declared the custom domain. So basically we are ready to continue with our presentation. For the next demo, we are going to do the same thing. We are going to add a custom domain, but this time on Azure Function, on an Azure Function application, and you're going to see it's very, very similar. So back into the dashboard, we see that we already have a function application set up. And if we go back to it, you will see that it is very, very similar to before. Here we see that it is running right now on functions-tailwindtraders.azurewebsites.net. And if we want to use a custom domain here, the process is going to be very similar to what we did before with app service. So under custom domain here, we can click there, and then we are going to add a custom domain, and here we are going to use functions.tailwindtraders.xyz. So it is again a subdomain, all right? Let's click on validate. Same thing as before, it's going to fail the validation, and we can resolve that with the same steps. So we are going to set here a text record. Let's go back to our DNS. Let's click on add record. And here, because it's a function subdomain, we are going to use asuid.functions.tailwindtraders.xyz. All right, let's select a text record and we are going to paste here the values that we copied just before. Let's click that. Done. We can go back to the validation here, and now we are going to set a canonical name, a CNAME record for functions-tailwindtraders.azurewebsites.net. Let's do that. This is going to be functions.tailwindtraders.xyz. That's a CNAME. And here I'm going to set again the TTL, the time to live, to 1 second. And we create that record. This is done. All right. So now if we go back to the validation, we are going to see that the validation is passing now. All right. This is here the two records that we set up.